Hey guys, welcome back to another video here. We're looking at Season 11 and we're looking at Meteor Sorc today. I haven't made a video yet this season. I've been working a lot on my loop filter. There'll be an upcoming video on that. And I've also been working on a couple spreadsheets that I have contributing to the PD2 wiki and doing some stuff. Basically. I've been involved with Diablo 2 or Project Diablo 2 here, but I haven't really been playing that much. So that's where I'm at. Today, though, I do want to show you my first character I made this season. So we're level 90. This is a Sorc. I never play Sorc, mainly because I just don't like how squishy casters are. However, I did want to play something different this time, so I went with Sorc. And yeah, it was pretty fun. I don't play her anymore. I still keep her around because she's good at a few things, which I'll go over why you might want to have a Sorc. Yeah, this is not the best way to play Meteor or anything like that. It's just the way I kind of did it and some stuff I learned along the way. So hopefully that helps. I'm going to go over early game or like early season gearing up and what to look for and how do you get stronger and get into mapping because that's basically what I did. So yeah, without further ado, let's talk about Meteor itself. Okay, so Meteor is a cool skill. I'll show you it. I'm sure you've seen it, but you click on the ground after a short delay. Meteor falls out of the sky, does some damage, and it leaves some fire behind. So there's a lot going on with this spell. So let's break it down. First of all, it doesn't benefit at all from faster cast rate. Okay. Um, because it has a static fixed cooldown. There's no way to reduce this cooldown. It's always half a second. And so it does lend itself to a playstyle where you are casting Meteor and then you're moving. And you're casting Meteor and you're moving. And you couple that with Blaze, which allows you to move pretty damn quick because Blaze has, you know, makes you run faster. Um, and also you can throw in some firewalls in between meteors because you're maxing firewall as a synergy. So that's fun. Yeah, and you can even do a little bit of this, a little bit Inferno if you want. It's not good, but you can do it. And so it's very strong. I'm gonna just bump my loop filter up here a little bit so we don't see a bunch of junk. And I'll tell you why. So, the main thing that makes Meteor strong is that it does fire damage and it does physical damage. And that's the only ability a Sorc has that does two types of damage. Uh, every other ability in the Sorc tree is one elemental damage. And in fact, none of the other abilities do physical damage. So, it's a little unique for the Sorc, and what it does is it allows you to play without infinity. Now, of course, infinity is good. I do not have one, but infinity would be pretty damn good. Um, but you don't need it, which is a blessing because a lot of the Sorc builds or any of these pure elemental damage builds require an infinity, and it's kind of annoying to have to just make that every season. And so, yeah, I don't really like it. I'm glad I don't need that. So let me just open up a map here. I'm gonna make one quickly, and we will check it out. So I don't know what the hell happened there. I must have picked up two, but okay, cold absorb, so that's good. This is a map we can do. I always slam my maps just because they might turn into a unique map, which hasn't happened yet, but it could happen. So let's just get a pulse here on how much damage I do, and you'll see that pretty much everything. Oh, that kind of hurt. Everything pretty much dies in one hit. Another thing you'll notice is I sometimes get frozen, and that's because I don't have cannot be frozen on my gear. I have it from Blaze because Blaze gives you basically immunity. It gives you cannot be frozen while it's active. So if you get frozen before you use it and then you use Blaze, you'll be able to run around without feeling the effects of being chilled, but if it wears off and you're still chilled, you will still be chilled, if that makes sense. It doesn't like cure the cold. It just temporarily makes you immune to its effects. So you see, like I'm kind of face tanking things. That's no good, especially with minions of destruction. So that's definitely an affix that's new this season that is pretty dangerous for casters, which is what this is. But you can see that, like, I am using pots, and it is definitely not a paladin in terms of like safe I am. But yeah, you kind of just teleport wherever you want, and you just cast a meteor or two, and usually everything's dead, and then you move on. So it's pretty fast at mapping. It's pretty strong in terms of its damage output. It does have a very, I wouldn't say the best AOE, but it's good enough AOE that you're not feeling like you're having AOE issues. Oh, another issue is that I didn't do this. So yeah, a lot of my health comes from battle orders, so that's probably gonna help a lot too. And yeah, so I mean, this is Meteor. You do still have to use pots. Faster hit recovery helps a lot. You don't want to be put under hit recovery. Yeah, it's kind of bad example with this map with the minions of destruction. They're like hardest hitting thing in the game. So, but I'm not dying. Used a lot of pots. Anyway, so that's it. That's kind of like a brief overview of what's going on. It does 3 portions of damage, which I was kind of getting into, but I stopped. Basically, it does fire damage on impact and physical damage on impact. And then it also does fire damage per second in the fire afterwards. So there is sort of this mentality that you can meteor around and things will eventually die because they're burning as well. So it's different in that sense where you're not like trying to kill things right away. You are always constantly moving, and things will clump together, and you meteor them more. And like I said, you're casting plays in between meteors. You're teleporting here and there. Yeah. Okay. And so let's go over the build. So you're gonna want 1 in Shiver armor. I don't go down to Chilling armor because frankly, I don't think there's any difference in terms of how defensive it is. So I just get the 1 in Shiver armor, and of course it requires these to reach it. And then of course you're going to get teleport and telekinesis. I do not get energy shield um, because I don't want to be going and drinking pots, and I also don't want to be putting points into energy just because it's kind of lame. So I mean, there's 2 ways of thinking on this. You either go energy shield and you dump everything in energy and you don't put anything in vit, or you don't even get energy shield and you dump it all into vit. And because it's a fire build, we don't want to waste a whole bunch of skill points going down to energy shield because there's quite a bit of prerequisites to unlock it. So I just get the teleport and of course telekinesis. I don't even get static field for bosses because I haven't really felt the need to ever do that. And in terms of the fire tree, you're maxing, in terms of importance, fire mastery is the number 1 thing you want to max. And then you max meteor. Or actually, when you're leveling, you probably max meteor before fire mastery. But yeah, these 2 maxed, and then you're going to get as many synergies as you can for Meteor, which is Inferno, Blaze, and Fireball. And you want to go for Blaze first because this is an ability you actually use. It has a 2-second cooldown, and like I said, it makes you run faster. It does leave fire behind in a trail, but that doesn't do any damage, as you can see, even with the synergies almost basically maxed. And yeah, it gives you cannot be frozen, which is great. And then Inferno you max second because Inferno actually does a ton of fucking damage, and it does do this fire pierce. So if you do come across some fire immunes that are also immune to physical You know, Inferno will sometimes break through it, and that's pretty fun. Also, it's kind of hard to see, but with my current gear, I have chance on cast to do Meteor. So while I'm Infernoing here, meteors are actually going to fall from the sky. You can see a couple of them. It's a pretty low chance, um, but it does happen. So that's cool. And then of course, last you're going to max Firewall. I haven't maxed it yet because you know, it's quite a bit of points to get it maxed. Um, yeah, or sorry, forget what I just said. Fireball. I'm confused. You max Fireball, Inferno, and Blaze, not Firewall. Um, but of course, you can see Fireball's synergies are not any of the other things, so it doesn't do much damage, so you never use it. And that's pretty much it. I did get 1 point in Combustion here. I never use it, so you don't need to do that. And I also get 1 point in Warmth, which is like, you know, some mana recovery, which is nice. And in terms of the stat allocation here, um, you know, this is not optimized at all, but basically get enough strength to wear your gear. And if you're using a staff, you don't have to worry about dex because you're not blocking, obviously. And then the rest goes into vitality. Having max resistances is going to help. It's not vital though because you can play from a distance. So that's one thing that's nice about Sorc is that it's ranged and you don't really have to get hit by things. You can always just move around and avoid stuff. Um, yeah, it's really strong against single target bosses. So when you're mapping, the best maps to do are fortified maps, which I don't really do that often, but they are ideal that you would do a fortified map because the meteor damage, as you can see, is just ridiculous. It's 22,000. And now that includes all the damage. So the fire damage and the physical damage and the damage over time is in that sort of calculation. Even without focusing on FCR, my teleport's still fine. Leveling, I was able to do my own Bale runs all the way to Hell Bale, which is amazing. Being able to just teleport for yourself when you're leveling really makes the game extremely easy. And Bale runs are a breeze. Nothing's immune to you. Um, Early farming, you can farm keys extremely easily. You can farm bosses like Bale and Diablo, Mephisto. It's kind of what I did at the start. I farmed the token materials, pure demonic essence or primeval souls. I got a few of those. Um, oh yeah, by the way, use telekinesis to like pick stuff up. That's what all the cool kids do. But yeah, so I'm just doing this bail run just to show you how effective it is against bosses. One thing with playing Sorc that I don't really like. Oh, here's a little trick. So on this wave, obviously the Merc gets murked, so you just kind of teleport back to send him back, and then the mobs will always focus him instead of you, and so you just kind of kite backwards, and you'll never get hit. And if you keep healing him, he'll never die, unless you run out of pots. So it's like it's pretty. It feels like cheating almost. It's just like super strong. And so for Bale, you see his health going down real fucking quick. I helped my buddy do Uber Trist really early on. We two-manned it, and it was so easy, man. Like we just did so much. I just do so much damage as a Sorc. So that's what I'm talking about. It's it's a lot of that. You know, doing bosses, getting the boss drop. So you do have access to all of the LOD content more so than any other class because of teleport. And you get teleport really early at level I think 18, and it just changes the game. It makes it so simple to complete what you're doing there. This looks pretty good actually. So I'm gonna put that there. I'll check all that out later. I'm paying attention to what's dropping. So that's Meteor with my current build. It's not totally optimized, but let's go over the gear. So Brimstone Rain is really cool. It has a chance to cast Meteor on casting. It also has enemy physical pierce, so that's really helpful. And for all skills, faster cast rate, and it has +3 to Meteor, so it's +7 to Meteor and Fire Mastery, which matters. It's the perfect. It was made for this build. It's a no-brainer. If you get a fully socketed one and you put fire faucets in it, that'll be amazing, but not entirely needed. I will make a note now that what's interesting about Meteor is that when you increase your fire mastery, the physical damage gets increased. So you can see I'm losing 1 to all skills by removing my Annie, and that lowers my fire mastery by 1 skill, and you'll see the fire damage go down quite a bit, and now it's back up. So that's unique to the Sorc because you can buff physical damage with fire buffs or things that buff fire damage, which is like unheard of for any other build. Secondly is the Ormus robe. So it's a Meteor Ormus you're looking for. It's a low chance, 8%. That's just static. It doesn't change. And of course, I just have a super cheap one. It's the lowest fire skill damage. The cold and lightning doesn't matter on it. And, you know, the more sockets, the better for faucets. That's what you're looking for. For the helm, you can just use a 3-skill helm, any of them. I have an Andes here. Again, you don't have to worry about faster cast rate, so that's fine. A Shaco or an Andes 3-skill, or even that other one, the Steel Shade, is good. And again, you're just looking for sockets to put facets into. I'm running a Mara's because I want some resistance. Again, it's not optimized. A +3 fire skill, +1 to all skill damage would be better for damage, obviously. And with Lucian being out now, you could get that up to +5 total if you slam double all skills, right? So there's a lot of ways to grow the damage on this build, for sure. You could easily double the output of my damage here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can get 10 fire faucets going here with 4 here, 3 on the chest, and 3 in the helm. And that would be absolutely bonkers, right? That would be 10 times 5 would be 50% more elemental mastery and pierce. And so that would like pretty much double the damage or you know, increase it by 50%. So yeah, and then what's great about the fire build is we get to utilize the Mage Fists, which have 1 to fire skills. A lot of classes don't have access to 1 to all skills or skills on their gloves that I usually play, so it's always fun to use those. I'm running 2 Stones of Jordan, again, it's just all skills, and an Arachnid just for the all skills. And I got some Tri-Res boots. And of course, Call to Arms and Lidless for bonus skills when I'm doing that. And you can see here when I swap from my Brimstone Rain to this setup, the Meteor damage doesn't really go down that much. The main thing is you're losing that Meteor proc. Because the Meteor has the permanent cooldown that you can't lower, having things that proc Meteor kind of lower it by allowing you to use more meteors, if that makes any sense, which I do like about the build, because sometimes you'll cast once and you'll get 3 meteors, and it's pretty cool to see. So that's my current build. In terms of the charms, you just want fire skillers. I don't have, you know, I have a Geeds normally goes here, a Torch and an Annie, the regular stuff. You know, you want to get your resistances up and basically get as many all skills as you can get your hands on. And that's kind of it. In terms of gearing, it's pretty simple once you have currency, right? Because these are all, everyone knows, most caster gear, you just want all skills. The only thing that's new and different here is these 2 items that have the Meteor on cast. There are alternate ways to do this. You can use Mangsongs, you could use Estuchas, whatever, with the shield. Or what I do like to do is also use just Talrashas. Full Talrashas is pretty damn strong. And the major differences here are that it allows you to wear a shield, which makes you much more tankier. because when you have a shield, you'll be blocking sometimes, and you don't get put into hit recovery as much. You'll see the damage is definitely lower. However, our resistances are totally fine. We also have a lot of magic fine from the set, and like I said, the blocking. So when I'm rushing people, I do not use this meteor setup because it's overkill. You only need these items when you start mapping or bossing. Um, if you're just running LOD content, and by the way, the FCR is faster with the full towels as well. If you're just running LOD content and oops, and you're just teleporting around for keys or trying to get to bosses as fast as you can, definitely forget about the Ormus or the Brimstone Rain because it's complete overkill. You do not need it whatsoever. You can totally just, you know, run with this. You'll see how quickly I can do um, Diablo, the Sanctum here. You see I got slowed because I wasn't keeping my, I'm sorry, I got frozen because I wasn't keeping my Inferno or Blaze, whatever it's called, up. And yeah, make sure you hotkey telekinesis so you can activate things further away. And yeah, so like that was, I don't know, not even a minute, and I've spawned Diablo. So no other class can do that, by the way. Druids have teleport, but it's you cannot teleport as fast as a Sorc. And you can see, look, even with the full towels, Diablo's just gone. Just he wasn't even there. It took a minute to do Diablo. So for basic LOD content, stick to full towels. And that's kind of what I built towards at the beginning of season because I wasn't really sure how to play or what to look for. So I just went with towels, and it was honestly fine. It doesn't really matter what kind of slams or what's going on here. I put topazes in the helm and this 3-0 socket helm, but it's totally unnecessary. Any piece of towels is going to be fine. Um, yeah, you can run a Ravenfrost instead of a Stone of Jordan. Again, it's not necessary for LOD content. I was running all this content too without Talrashes. Um, yeah, and so now I'm going to get into what are some items that are definitely cheap and early on you can get your hands on that'll be really beneficial to you. So in terms of the weapon or shield setup, there are some wands that or orbs that are kind of pretty cheap to get early on. Like Oculus is very good. Also, just rare orbs. I don't know if I have one anymore. Um, no, I don't. But yeah, rare orbs are like I had one that was I think 2 to lightning skills and 3 to thunderstorm or something, and you just pick up rare stabs and orbs, and eventually you'll find one that has what you're looking for. And then you want to use for armor. Pick up one of the cheap 1-to-all skills, faster cast rate armors like a Viper Magi or an Atma's Whale, or there's another one. Its name eludes me at the moment, but they all have a decent chunk of FCR and 1-to-all skills, and they're all pretty damn cheap early on. You can run a lore for your helm early on, just any 2-socket helm. Um, yeah, Mage Fists are super cheap. You can get those pretty early, or any 20% FCR gloves. But yeah, just basically identifying rares that you find for like resistances. I use pretty much just like rings like this, just like resistance rings that I found. It's a no-brainer. The most important thing though, once you are in hell and you're able to like kind of farm, what I recommend doing as a Sorc early on is farm keys. Now, farming keys sucks because it's like feast or famine. It's a 1 in 11 chance that you'll get the keys, and sometimes you'll play all day and not get any keys, which is really annoying. But early on, farming keys is very safe and it's very easy and it's pretty much guaranteed. You get a 3x3 early on in the season, you can sell it immediately for currency, and key farming is something people don't like doing, and you pretty much need a Sorc to do it effectively. So take advantage of that. Another thing you can do early on, like I already said, was farm bosses. So Andy is the easiest one to farm because she's pretty safe to face. She doesn't do much damage, and the catacombs are pretty safe. There's no dolls. There's no souls like you get when you're trying to do bail. And catacombs, there's like some like what just happened. Sometimes catacombs you find it immediately level 4, and Andy can drop pretty much any item in the game, so there's nothing wrong with taking advantage of that. Let me see this. Yeah, Grim Reaper doesn't show, as it shouldn't, because it's bad. So yeah, let me just grab this. That's kind of what I wanted to go over. The number one biggest source of damage that you're gonna be getting is the fire skillers. As soon as I got full fire skillers, my damage essentially doubled. So let's just take a look. I'm gonna drop them all on the floor here. So 14 to 17k. And let's get rid of my Torch, Annie, and all my skillers. And now you'll see I'm doing only 8 to 9k. So literally half my damage comes from that. And that is because the scaling on Meteor and most Sorc spells, the scaling increases like kind of exponentially. So the early levels, like levels 1 to like 30, the scaling's like it gets better around 25. But like once you get past 30, the scaling every point that you put into it is actually quite a bit of damage. And so getting your all skills up high as soon as you can is the number one way to make your damage feel more effective on a Sorc. And I believe that goes for any build on a Sorc. And once I did that, once I got the skillers, then I bought the Torch, and then I got the Annie. When I had all that, it was like, ooh, I'm breezing through everything now. Everything's easy. I was able to map with just towels. You could pretty much like throw all this shit on the ground here, and just with towel roster, well, I need the belt, but just with full towels and nothing else, you can map. You can. It's not super quick, but you can definitely do it. Yeah. So in terms of the Merc, I kind of already talked about it. You do want an Infinity. Of course, there are other strategies. If you're not using Mang Song, you can put a Mang Song on a Act 4 Merc, and they will cast lower resist. Now, you can't use the Dark one for amp damage and lower resist at the same time, unfortunately, because there's no way for that character to wear an item that allows him to have 2 curses active at once. So you'll be overwriting your curses, which you don't want. So you got to use the light one. But because you do physical damage, amp damage is also great, and that's what I use. Act 2 Merc with Define Sora to make me tankier, and he's got a Reaper Stole for amp damage. Another thing that's like a growing pain is before you get a Call to Arms, which is an incredible amount of health. You see, I have almost 1300 here, and without my bow, I only have 1100. So it's a lot. It helps a lot. And so if you don't have a Call to Arms, and obviously you won't, because when you're starting out, you don't have money for that. So what do? You come over here to Act 5 and you get yourself one of the Battle Orders Whirlwind guys. And his Battle Orders is actually way stronger than Call to Arms. So you get like 500-600 health from it. And that helps a lot. That helps so much. And if you're using him, there's plenty of items that you can find for cheap that have lower res proc, or of course, multiple items that do amp damage that he can wear as well. And so he's still useful for tanking and getting off some curses. So that's kind of the options for that. You could use an infinity, and that would help with the fire damage. But you know, I think the only time that's sort of if you're going all the way with Sorc and you're gonna make it your main character, definitely get an infinity. It's better than the other options, but it's not needed, is what I'm trying to say. That's the whole reason you play Meteor, so that you don't need an infinity, at least in my mind. So, will I play Sorc again? Maybe. I don't know. I really didn't enjoy it as much as I like the melee classes, but it is what it is. Yeah, and so that's that. That's all I'm gonna really talk about for the Sorc. She's pretty strong, pretty good, and this season probably one of the best. And a lot of the stuff for fire is expensive because there are a lot of meteor Sorcs playing. Vengeance also uses fire, so and then fists of fire from assassins. Fire is just high in demand for pretty much all the specs, including the druid bear fire thing. I think they made that better, so it's not something I would do right now, but don't let that discourage you. Yeah, I have some more videos coming up, but I just wanted to get one out for Sorc. I never make videos for Sorc, really, other than meme ones, so yeah. Anyways, have a great day.